If you were to fall down and you go to urgent care or you go to a doctor and he's cleaning up your gash, you fell down skateboarding or whatever it is, going through surgery, and he screams at his nurse like, Sarah, go get me some paper towels at CVS or something. I was like, that just can't be right. They don't do that.
Right. They don't hit you with the quicker picker upper.
No. No way. No, they do not.
Yeah, we good.
Thank you guys for joining us on today's episode of Unemployable Podcast. Today we have Mike Devries with us. Thanks for joining us, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, man.
You said it right. That was pretty good. You didn't say it wrong.
Yeah.
Devries.
What's up, Cam?
Rough start to my morning.
Yeah, you were late.
Yeah. Traffic this
Okay.
morning. No, but like for real this time. Yeah.
So every other time was a lie? Shit.
We're in the moment. Traffic was rough today. It hit a couple school zones. Hit a couple kids
It's
in the
summer.
school zone.
It's summer.
It's the same route every morning.
Yeah, don't think that right.
Like just this morning you hit school zones.
No, I've been staying at my girl's recently on Sunday nights because it's quicker to get here.
I guess it makes a little more sense.
Yeah, so I was staying at my house.
Do you have a commute to your shop?
Yeah, it's about 30 minutes.
Oh, that's a decent commute.
Yeah.
Is it just because of the traffic or the distance?
It's the distance.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Because it is kind of hard to get around. Are you in LA?
The shops, technically it's LA, San Fernando Valley,
Gotcha.
Northridge. I was born and raised there, but then I live in Ventura County now. So I don't have to deal with LA traffic though. I kind of go like this little back way.
Like around it, kind of?
Yeah, it's kind of nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the whole area is so much better than like the south part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At first I was like, oh, this drive sucks, but I don't mind it nowadays. And I'm not one that likes to drive.
Right.
Like I'm just like bored
Yeah.
or whatever. But I feel like it's kind of like my, kind of a little bit of a zen time or unwind by the time I get home. Like
Yeah. I don't so much mind the drive home. It's the drive to work.
And I had a little bit more of a commute. It was definitely that as well. Like even just a pause. Like, okay, you don't have to like think of anything right now. Or you can, get a little things processed, figured out. Or I would like make phone calls.
Yeah, I do work actually.
Yeah.
Shit, sometimes I even play Words with Friends. It's probably not good. I shouldn't be saying that, but emails, phone calls, it's my. I guess it's a little bit of my office.
Yeah. Mobile office.
Mobile.
Dude, I haven't played that game
I
in
hate
years.
driving. I hate traffic. It all sucks.
That's because you get in accidents all the
Yeah.
time.
Florida just sucks for driving, period.
It is a little
Yeah.
different. Do
Yeah.
you have experience driving over in LA?
A little bit.
I
Yeah.
don't.
Yeah,
'Cause you're
it's-
kind of familiar with that area.
Yeah, a little bit. I was like more in my permit stage when I was over there.
Gotcha.
But yeah, it's definitely a little bit more. The highways there are more nerve wracking. Here they're more dangerous. They're just so big over there that they can be like overwhelming. And then the sheer amount of people sucks too.
Huh.
Like I'm a fan of like the carpool lane thing. Like I'm a big fan of that, which
Yeah.
we don't have down here.
Well, when we were over there, Billy was driving us around in that Tesla that was driving itself. And I was
That'd be
like,
cool.
this kind of makes sense for around here.
Yeah, like take it out of the human's
We
hands.
were having like a meeting in the car. And, like no one was paying attention to the road.
And I couldn't get out of the car. The guys are walking into Benihana's. I'm sitting in the back like this. Like, let me free.
Yeah, I'm like not an electric car guy. But like when we were doing that, I was like, this kind of makes sense. Not
Yeah.
enough for me to like get one. But I'm like, oh, this is.
But enjoy the ride.
Yeah, this is not bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know Kim's like a Kia Soul guy, but Tesla maybe.
Soul, baby.
Uh,
Bro, it's so weird how many people have your car in this area.
Yo,
It's
in that
global.
color.
In that,
It's
and-
global,
and
bro.
decrepit, bro.
it's global.
Would only the ugly green ones survive, bro?
What is, like the cockroaches of the soul.
Yeah.
I
All
always
the
think I'm
hamster
seeing-
people.
Are you looking to get a new car, though?
Yeah. Yeah.
When's that happening?
Pretty soon. I'm
Yeah?
actually saving up. Yeah, I was talking to your client, Alex, about selling my collection.
Oh, Chesh.
Yeah.
Your Pokemon collection.
Yeah, he
All
offered
right.
me a couple grand.
It's
for
time,
it.
huh?
Yeah, he offered me a couple grand, so the car's coming soon.
What?
Yeah.
Damn. Trading the childhood for the ride, dude.
Yeah. They
Being
don't
an
fucking
adult.
do anything for me. They just collect dust.
All right.
When I told him, his eyes lit up. I was like, oh, this guy likes Pokemon. Okay.
Bro, you got to do your research and make sure he's paying you.
You might regret that.
Yeah.
You know, I
Nah, I have no
regretted
first gen.
selling stuff,
Yeah.
childhood stuff.
Wait, you said no first gen?
Yeah, I have no first gen.
Oh, never
stuff.
mind, I'm out.
No. It's all like early 2000s.
I was already an adult.
Yeah, I have 2, actually, now that you bring it up.
Yeah.
You got to think about your future, Cam.
I'm thinking about it. I'm selling my cars.
What was something you sold that you're like, fuck?
I had a lot of comic books when I was a kid, and then
I'll never get rid of mine.
I sold them. I ended up buying them back,
Okay.
Yeah.
like on eBay. I found, you know what, I missed that one.
Yeah.
Like fuck it, you know. I bought them back. But when I collected baseball cards when I was young, with my dad, you know, this is a young teenager, you know, kid, and we collected together. And then at one point, I don't know, maybe I was 16, 17. Maybe I needed a car, I'm not sure. But he ended up buying me out of the collection.
Okay.
So it was, yeah.
By your own pops?
Yeah,
Damn,
it was,
man.
you know, it was just one of those. But years later, I think it was like just a couple years back, I ended up buying them back from him. And even though I don't really look at them, even though I just like knowing that they're there.
Dude,
you know?
I
get it.
have a comic book collection I'll never get rid of. That's like the one thing I won't sell. But that's the thing. Like I look at like those versus Pokemon cards. Like I can open up that comic book and get a few hours of, you know, something to do. But like the Pokemon card, I look at it and I'm like, cool. I put it in a box and never look at it.
You open the comic book, bro?
Never. I don't want to crease them. they're all mint.
I don't even think I even read one of them.
No, I don't.
I just appreciated the art.
Yeah,
you
like
know?
I like the art on the front covers.
Yeah.
That's usually what I do.
Yeah.
Just out here on the pod fucking lying, bro. I
I read the back
I have
flap.
like a couple.
First you're telling him you can fucking read. Then you're telling him for hours.
If I get
bro.
them loose, I'll open them up and look at them. But if they're sealed, I just want to open them.
You should bring them. We should do a live grading.
A live reading?
Grading and reading. Yeah.
Dude, we should do a segment. It's just 5 minutes of Cam trying to read anything.
He's like, boom, wow.
And then he like holds up pictures.
So the
show
camera
and
like
tell.
pans over. We're all sitting Indian style.
Yeah.
What do you collect?
Shoes.
You don't really collect those anymore.
I try not to,
Yeah.
you know, so that we can have a new tattoo shop.
Yeah. they take up a lot of space.
I was just saying.
Like that's what I like about like the comic books and the Pokemon cards. Like you put them in a box and you hide them, and you can have 100 of them in one box. But you have 100 sneakers, and it's a whole room.
I know. That is the thing.
I collected sneakers too. I had about 100 at the height. I had about 100 pairs. And
Take
it
up a
just
lot of
got to a
space.
point- Well, I started moving. That's when you realize it's
yeah.
like
Oh my god.
moving
Yeah.
from one house to another house. It's like a truckload. You're just like, yeah.
Yeah. It's like one
They're
whole
cool,
car
though.
trip just the sneakers.
I'm just in selling mode right now.
Same.
So like that's why I brought everything in. We're getting rid of
Yeah,
it.
giving them to Joe and
Hopefully
stuff.
one day I can go back to buying mode. It could be worse though. Like our boy Andrew collects cars.
Yeah.
That takes up a lot of fucking room, bro.
Gotta have a driveway for that.
Yeah, and it's like you can see it stressing him out all the time. And I saw him the other night. I'm like, "How you doing?" He's like, "Not good." Not good. And I was like, "I could tell. I see you got a new fucking Porsche in the driveway, bro. Not good." Yeah, and then he sends him away to get work done, and then it comes back, and then he doesn't like how the exhaust sounds, and whatever. It's a nightmare.
No thanks.
All right. Anyway, back on topic.
How's your few days here so far?
It was good.
Yeah.
Did a couple cool tattoos. Yeah.
Did you see any of them?
I saw Saturdays. I didn't get to see yesterday's.
Yeah. I'll show you a picture. It was cool. It was small.
Yeah, you were telling me you did one of your smaller ones yesterday.
Yeah.
It was like a little shoe, right?
Yeah, a little classic
Chuck Taylor?
checkered Vans.
Fuck yeah.
That was
I
cool.
like that.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, I definitely want to check that out.
What's funny is like a lot of those like little micro tattoos that I do, people are like, man, Mike, that's awesome. You figured out how to just like bang out little ones. I'm like, dude, there's nothing banging about
No,
it.
them things still take forever.
Take me all day.
Yeah. You're like, yeah, I did. I figured out if I take all day to do it, it works.
But it's nice to be able to know that you're going to finish this today, and it's just a clean little, and you can take your time on stuff like that, which is the cool part.
You know what takes a long time on those is the prep.
Yeah, like the stenciling and
Hours.
stuff.
Yeah. But I've learned, like, no matter what I'm doing, if I spend more time on the prep, it, you know, that sets the standard for the day. So it's like you don't rush that. You don't rush, you know, finding the image or photographing the image or the way I'm going to make the stencil or the placement, you know. There's a lot of time in that, like a lot.
Yeah.
It could be, you know, it's usually probably on average, I'd say like 2 hours before I even start tattooing.
Mm-hmm.
Like once you get in the shop and start working,
Yeah.
that's when the 2 hours starts.
Just like figuring it out, or where are we going to put it, the size.
Yeah.
But I like to photograph. If I get an opportunity to photograph it,
Yeah.
Like make
You
your
know.
own light source and stuff like that.
yeah, because you're in control of everything. And that's kind of how I do those 3D things.
So you'll do that for like a lot of like the candy wrappers and stuff like that? Like you'll get your own image of them?
Absolutely. It's like, and that's another part of it. So somebody walks in the shop and they're like, I want I don't know, like a strawberry.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's go to the grocery store. Let's go to the market, you know. That's the first thing. Let's go pick out our strawberry.
Yeah.
And then, you know, well, let's put a toothpick through it. You know, just kind of just getting ideas, and then going back, and then taking a variety of different pictures. But that's the big trick with those, actually, is taking it in the dark, almost kind of like, you know, how people take finished pictures of their tattoo with the light, little lens. I do it just like that. So I'm in control of the light and the shadow. So depending on where it's on the body, so let's say it's like right here, I want that light hitting this way, the shadow's going to be over here.
Right.
Or if it's right here, you know, I want the light here. Kind of wherever the person would naturally be standing, wherever the light kind of would be, would put where that shadow is. Being in control of all that. I think being in control is like an important aspect of the whole thing. Yeah. You know, the more in control that you are, the better. You know, rather than just being, okay, well, I guess that's the best one on Google.
Right,
See
right.
that, but there's some issues with it. You know, or I guess I could change the light source and redraw it or this or that, but I find it's best just to.
Yeah. Start off with like that solid picture.
Yeah. But being in control of it is the key.
Right, and you're creating something original, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have fun with it too. You know, I don't really draw too much anymore. You know, with realism stuff, you don't really technically need to. But it's all about being creative. You know, I like being creative, and I think that's what could set people apart, is just the creativity behind anything, really. Well, let's have this Hot Wheel, you know, pop in a wheelie, and I'll literally use tape. Like, I'll get Scotch tape. I've even super glued a pencil and stabbed this guy. I did a little like number 2 pencil on a guy's foot. It was actually a really hard one. It was just like this little yellow number 2 pencil broken off on this guy's foot, and I literally like super glued it on his foot to stand up a little bit. You know what I mean? And that was a pain in the ass.
Sounds like fun though. It sounds like a little
is
science
fun.
experiment every day.
Yeah,
you know,
it is actually a lot of fun.
That's
Yeah.
a cool.
I just
little
picture
process.
like a new artist coming to your shop and they see you over in the corner trying to glue shit to your
Yeah.
clients. And they're like, what the fuck's going on?
It's got like beakers and shit. It's like, dude.
Yeah.
No, it sounds really cool though.
Yeah.
But I think you're 100% right. And it's like, you have to try new things. You know, you have to try to do something different. You have to be creative.
Yeah. And thinking outside the box for sure. You know, that's something that I've always tried to do ever since I started, was thinking outside the box. You know, the more you do that, I think that could start to separate you from other people, because let's say somebody wants a rose. I mean, how many great roses are on Google? I mean, there are some
Too
really
many.
good ones, but then they've also been done 1,000 times.
Yeah.
So it's like, well, you're just gonna do the same thing.
Yeah.
Like, no, let's go buy some roses. You know, and I've literally done that.
Yeah.
You know, I like going to 7-Eleven. 7-Eleven's a great place for reference.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
If somebody's like, Mike, what do you want to do? You could do anything you want. I'm like, okay, let's go to 7-Eleven.
Grab a candy bar.
Yeah,
Ready?
Just pick something from 7-Eleven. Like anything from 7-Eleven is going to be cool.
Yeah, you're like, all right, that homeless guy on the
The guy who just asked me for $20.
The cashier hasn't even looked at me.
We should take a field trip to the one down the street.
Yeah, there's one down here. We'll go.
I'm proud.
Yeah. Or I say, like, if you could hold it in your hand, that's something that I want to tattoo.
That's cool. You could even just, I think maybe, I don't know. Maybe when I started, like maybe 10 years ago, 9 years ago, I heard like artists were doing that. Like I heard artists were photographing their references. And I remember thinking at the time that was so beyond like anything I was doing. I was trying to like do clean lines on like the Sailor Jerry flash. And I'm hearing people are like out in the wild taking photographs and doing these hyper-realism pieces. I'm like, I'm never going to catch up to these guys, you know?
It's just a different mindset.
Yeah. No, but I think it's awesome. And like did that once. I was doing like this guy wanted his upright bass. So he actually brought it to the shop and we took photographs of it. But yeah, that has to be the way to go. Obviously, it takes a lot more time, you know, than like finding something on Google
And that's
or
what
whatever.
I mean, that prep,
Yeah.
you know.
But you create something original.
Yeah, and it even all the way goes to a portrait. Like just recently, I had somebody send me some pictures of his wife. You know, he wants on his arm, and I look at the picture, I'm like, no, we gotta do better than that.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
come on, dude.
Yeah.
Like, so I give them a little bit of guidance for them, and I tell them like, have fun with it. You know, have fun, do different angles, this and that. Tell them kind of like where to stand, maybe next to a window, or you know, to try and get some like contrast, I guess,
Yeah.
or like you know, make it.
Like some dark and some light.
Yeah.
Like playing with the shadows.
Yeah, like dynamic.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know? Then sometimes I say, you know what, just come in.
Yeah, I'll do it.
I'll do it.
I've taken lots of pictures of like their kids or to the wife or you know when they come in, and it just makes for a better tattoo. It's you know you're gonna get like a higher resolution, just better. It's just better. It's just gonna make for a better tattoo. So you just gotta just do that type of stuff. You know, go the distance for that. You know.
So let me take it back to the beginning before the mind-blowing 3D tattoos and photography. Where did it start? It started in California for you, born and raised?
Like all the way back to when I was a baby.
Well, it's just in general. So like did you grow up there?
Yeah. I was born and raised in San Fernando Valley.
And then when did you start tattooing, or when did it even appeal to you?
So when I was actually my best friend at the time, he got a little moon on his arm from a. It was like it was kind of a little bit of a ghetto shop.
Yeah.
In the guy's garage, and he tattooed miners. He didn't give a shit.
Okay, right. Yeah.
And
We all need those
the
places.
used.
Family
Yeah,
shop.
the normal.
Dude, he showed me this tattoo, and I was like, dude, that is so cool. I was like, next day I went and got one.
What'd you get?
So he got a moon with like this little evil face in it. So
All right.
I ended up getting a sun on my back with like an evil
Makes
face
sense.
in
Yeah.
it, you know. And I think the guy drew it. A lot of the first tattoos that I got, though, I picked off the wall, but you know, you didn't really know better.
Yeah.
But oh man, right when I first got my first tattoo, I was like, this is incredible.
Yeah.
This is the coolest thing
Yeah.
I've ever seen.
Changes your life.
Yeah. And so I think I just turned 16 at the time. But I started getting a lot of tattoos. I mean, in high school, I had tattoos like all over me actually. But then when I graduated high school and I went to work with my dad in construction, I was in construction for like 5 years. It was cool. Like I actually miss it. Sometimes I even think, man, I almost kind of want to go back. You know, because it was chill. You get off of work.
Yeah.
You know, you work from here to here. You get off at like 3:30, 4 o'clock, and you're done.
Yeah.
Like,
There's no
you're
prep
literally
work
done.
for the next
With tattooing,
day.
you're never done.
No.
Like, it's just
It's a 24/7 job.
Yeah. But I ran into an opportunity. I was on lunch break in construction. I was at lunch, And I saw this guy that used to tattoo at a shop that I was getting, tattooed at years prior. And he's like, I'd love to tattoo you. And I was like, cool, yeah, let's do it. So he had a little private gig in his garage. And so I went there. And actually, my cousin drew a tattoo for my arm. My cousin, Matt, he's a really good artist, just drawing, a really good artist. And so he offered my cousin an apprenticeship. He's like, do you want to learn how to tattoo? You're really good. And my cousin's like, no. And I was like, right here. Yeah. Right, I'll do it. Me. Yeah, so me. Yeah. So he's like, can you draw? I was like, yeah. So he told me to go home, draw a bunch of stuff. So I came back a few days later, showed him some stuff, and he's like, all right, let's get started.
You had already been drawing, like artwork was somewhat present in your life?
Yeah. I used to draw a lot with some friends. We just draw a lot. So yeah, I loved art. I mean, I've always loved art. But I never really knew that I was going to be a tattoo artist until that moment when he was like, all right, let's see what you got. Mm-hmm. So I brought some drawings back to him, and he's like, okay, cool. Yeah, let's get started.
You passed the test.
Yeah, I passed the test, yeah. I don't think they were like that great or anything, But
that had to feel good when he's like, all right, yeah, let's run it.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I'm in.
Yeah. So actually my childhood friend that we used to draw a lot, he actually taught me a lot, and he learned with me at the same time. So
learned tattooing?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
So a buddy of mine, we both did it. It wasn't exactly like traditional apprenticeship, but I did a bunch of work on his house. I think, because I had a little construction background, so I think I hung drywall on his ceiling. I did can lights. I did crown molding on the ceiling. Right. I think I did something in his backyard, maybe his patio. I don't remember exactly. Then I also paid him a little bit of money, and it was just a short apprenticeship, I guess you call it. It was maybe I went for like maybe a month and a half, a few times a week, and he just taught me how to make needles, autoclave, clean this, just kind of the basic stuff at the time. And
it was useful though.
Yeah,
at the time.
Yeah, he was a good tattooer at the time. He was tattooing for like 10 years, but he was good.
Nice.
Like, he was more of like a color bomb, kind of more neo-trad, I guess, type of artist. But he dabbled in some portraits.
Cool.
He's the one that did this portrait on my hand.
Yeah.
So he could do some portraits, but
and this was 20 years ago.
This was January 2003.
Okay, yeah.
So yeah, 20 years ago.
So yeah, if you're doing stuff like that, you're a pretty decent artist.
Yeah. So he was good. But I remember one thing that helped me a lot right out the gate was, maybe not so much anymore, people do this, but books and getting reference. Because now looking at it, like, I feel like, well, unless you're like drawing like an artist that draws, but if you're like I always say this, like, whoever has the best flash wins.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like better books, better reference, the better reference, and then, but now it's like, okay, well, now I'm creating my own reference by photography. Mm-hmm. Okay. So that's could set me apart a little bit, but now you see these guys doing these like 3D renderings on whatever that program is.
Yeah.
What's it called?
I forgot, but I know what you're talking
3D
about.
modeling type stuff,
Yeah.
like Jacob. You know who that guy Jacob is that works with Arlo?
They literally just have
Arlo
like the
too.
Full sleeve 360 render
Yeah,
and
they
stuff.
completely do that stuff in programs. So it's like now they're creating their own flash, like just remarkable stuff, So it's like, especially if you're realism or that type of stuff, and then it just catapults you. If you know how to tattoo good, then you're doing it on this like incredible, something that they made on a computer, or even if you draw that's. I think in terms of like realism a lot, I just loved it, so, but I just remember that I paid attention, and that's a good way to learn is just
Getting
just by
tattooed.
watching,
Mm-hmm.
getting tattooed and just watching. I wasn't obnoxious, like asking questions, but
You can pick up on tendencies just by
you're
watching
just
and
like,
stuff.
You learn a lot that way. So,
Mm-hmm.
so basically my apprenticeship was just watching the guy a lot. And then here and there I might call him or show him, and then he tells me a couple little things. But yeah.
It's funny because we had one of the guest artists tattooing here, and you know, really amazing artist, and I forget who. I think it was Adrian. I was like, "Yo, go watch him tattoo. Like, you'll learn a lot." Well, I hope it was Adrian, and maybe after a couple days, I'm like, "You been watching him?" He's like, "Yeah, dude. He just does the same things all you guys fucking. Nothing's different." He's like, "I guess I just suck." I'm like, "No, watch, bro."
Yeah,
Like,
everybody was going around.
like,
to
ask
watch him.
questions.
I don't think he knows what he's watching for.
Right.
Yeah.
He's
But
like, I saw him. He was tattooing.
Yeah, I was just dying. I was like, "Yeah, but like."
He's like, he wiped
even,
just like you. He went to dip his ink just like you. He put his cartridge in the machine the same way.
Right. But you have to ask questions, I feel like. You know, you
Yeah.
have to ask questions. Even when an apprentice is standing by me for like more than 5 minutes.
In
I'm
silence.
like, ask me questions.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck are you even looking at, bro?
I'm doing the same zigzag motion for fucking.
But you've gotten good with it. Like, oh, why do you do that like that? Why are you shading here before here? You know what? And getting like specific. I don't even care if they're dumb questions.
Yeah.
I just want people to get used to asking, you know?
Yeah. Because what the question leads to is like, what are you thinking? It's not so much what are you doing, it's what are you thinking.
Why are you doing that?
Yeah. And especially with realism too. And that's the other thing is like if somebody comes and watches and they watch, you know, for a couple minutes and then they walk away, dude, like that minute later after they walked away, I'm doing something where it's like, dude, that guy's fucking missing out.
Like, this is the good part.
You just watched me do the boring part.
Literally,
Yeah.
even if you're bored as shit for the majority of the time, there's a few spots in there where it's like, you know, those are some of the key things in there.
I don't even. I've always tattooed black and gray different than color, right? So a lot of like techniques that I've seen with like wall to wall color don't always like apply to like my application, but it's still interesting. And sometimes there can be like some crossover. And like even when I was watching you tattoo, was it a baboon face? I thought it was cool how you were like blocking out pretty much all the shapes of the images with the with your like darker tones, you know. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. Even though maybe that's not exactly how I would do like a black and gray piece, it was still like cool to watch, to see like a difference. Where like a lot of the color guys here, they just kind of start and then go bottom to top. And that's just it. And I'm like, oh, cool. Like everything was kind of mapped out with these darker tones. And like still to this day, like that's interesting to me. I'm like, oh, this is cool. This is another way to do this.
Yeah, there's a lot of different ways to do things. And yeah, my technique or my approach has completely changed over the years. And, you know, there's so many different ways to accomplish it. But that, you know, that Xerox method where you just go this way and you're completing it all the way up, you know, I think there's some limitations to that, or where my way, you could change things. Like, let's say you get halfway up and you're like, oh, I think orange light source would be cool, like hitting this side. Well, the bottom's not completely done where I could still do that. I could still, you know.
Right.
You know, so it kind of leaves things open a little bit. Plus, one big thing that changed, you know, you see these people using like computerized stencils now.
Yeah.
Dude, that was a game changer for me.
Yeah.
Dude, I haven't hand stenciled something in so long. That because it blocks it all out for you.
Right.
It's like,
And it's perfect, right?
it's perfect. Like you can't get it any better. If I were to hand stencil that, well, first of all, there's probably no way unless I spend days on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, but that kind of dictates where my darks go. So like that's kind of my approach is like I just put the darks where the purple is up, and my goal is to kind of just cover the purple.
Yeah.
And then I could go back and do the in-betweens, and usually the in-betweens are like, you know, mid-tones or the lights, you know,
Highlights,
at the
stuff
end.
like that.
So
Will you use that app?
I've used with the Ponies app.
Yeah.
That app is cool. So I do use that app. I usually use that app if there's a lesser quality photo. So let's say, because sometimes I still got to find an image off of Google, or somebody brings a picture and it's like, that's just it. Like we can't bring the person in to photograph. We just can't. Maybe the person's not around. And you got to make something happen. I found that app is really good for lower quality images. I mean, it works for everything. Yeah. But the way that I do it, so I do it on Photoshop, and what happens is there's different levels of it. So you could go where it blocks out your darks even more. So it could either be like really low.
Oh, right.
It could be either really low, like the stencil app, where it's just showing you lines for the most part. But then you could bump it up a little bit. Now it's kind of showing you like, oh, that's all dark. That's showing all the dark. But you could take it too far. You could go to where it almost looks like a poster. Yeah. Like where it's just all going to be purple. It's blocked out too much. But there is an in between, and that's where I like to find that sweet spot where it's not just lines, but it's almost already telling me where the darks are going to go, which also speeds up the process when I'm tattooing. It's like you almost don't even have to think. The only thing you got to, I look at the reference and be like, okay, well, that's black. Okay,
right.
And
that's not black.
That's not black. It's pretty straightforward actually, but it's a lot of looking at the reference. And the thing about that stencil way, whether you use the app or the way that I do it in Photoshop, you're going into it blind. Back when you make a hand stencil, you're learning. You're like, okay, that's the chin. That's that's the hairs. Okay, that's the lip. That's the bottom lip. That's the shading on the lip. Maybe cross hatch a little bit. You learn so much that almost when you start tattooing, you almost don't even have to look at the reference. Kind of. You're like, dude, you just educated yourself on this. But going with that the new way with the computerized stencil, you're going in blind. Like 100% blind. I don't know what the fuck any of it is. Like I'm like, but I just look at the reference. You just got to figure. You're like dissecting it. It's almost like a puzzle. It's like decoding it, if you will. Right. And you just got to look a lot.
I still do it by hand, like on the iPad a lot. Yeah. And a lot of times I'm either like listening to a podcast or I'm on the phone when I'm drawing. And then I'll come to work and like when I'm tattooing that spot, I'll remember what I was doing when I was drawing that spot. You know what I mean? Wow. Does that ever happen to you? Or do I just have like mental health going on?
My stencils don't take as long as yours.
Like laughing at a joke you heard 3 hours ago.
Exactly, bro. Or like I was on the phone with someone and they're like, you have to do this today. And I'll be like, Kyla! Like I'll get to that part in the cheek in the portrait and the phone call will go off in my head. And I'm like, Kyla, I gotta fucking walk the dog, whatever.
That's funny.
That's why I'm yelling shit at her all day. It's just trauma from the morning.
Adrian said he watches porn as he does stencils, so hopefully he doesn't remember that. Also,
he definitely does, bro. Like, why are you smiling over there, bro?
Adrian, stand up. I can't, bro.
Seal a deal with SANIDERM. This is the shit right here. This is the only tattoo aftercare product I use on my clients. If they walk out the door without it, I don't feel safe. I don't know about you. If you care about your tattoos at all, you need to use this product. It's easy to apply. It's comfortable to wear. It's it. It can heal anything. This shit can heal anything. You've seen the videos. Use code CAMSUCKS for 15% off. We love it so much. We teamed up with them. We're giving you 15% off. Use code CAMSUCKS. Go to SANIDERM.com. So after your apprenticeship with this guy, you went right into a shop. Was it his shop?
Yeah, so I just did what he did. It was a nice little shop in his garage. And part of me, it's like, do I want to say it? Like, I wasn't in a shop. It wasn't a super traditional type of apprenticeship, but it is what it is. So I ended up building a nice little studio in my garage at the time. And I was there for, maybe a year and a half or so. And,
A lot of big startup companies started in the garage.
Yeah.
So I think you're fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was that. Yeah.
And then moved into shops after that.
So yeah, so I hit it hard, man. Like I guess I'll say I was doing pretty good work, like right out the gate.
Yeah.
You know, and you know I started getting magazine features all around the world within like the first year of tattooing. Like getting some notoriety, and it was awesome.
How old were you when this was happening?
I was 23 when I first started tattooing, so I was probably like 24.
Right.
So, but then I remember one big moment was I ran into a friend of mine, Mike DeMasi. Have you ever heard of Mike DeMasi?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's really good. At the time, I haven't seen too much of his work lately. I don't even know if he's really tattooing that much, but really good tattooer. Realism, kind of artsy, painterly realism.
So you met him at this time?
So I met him at a convention, and I showed him some more. I brought a couple people there, a couple clients, and showed him some of my work, and we just hit it off, like a lot. We became really good friends, and he talked me into moving to the desert. About an hour and a half.
How'd you do that?
Dude, in Victorville.
It's like, bro, sand? Sick.
Yeah, like, dude, he talked me into it, and it was an opportunity to like work with him and his crew at the time.
Right.
It was really good. That's where Nico got his start too.
Okay.
Mike DeMasi taught Nico.
Gotcha.
So Mike's,
desert?
what's
Yeah,
that?
the
In
sand.
the desert?
Yeah, yeah. It's somewhere between L.A. and Vegas. A place called Victorville. Art Junkies. So it was really good, big name shop at the time, and
Were you coming from the garage?
it came from the garage.
And it was like, hey, come to, essentially work with this like awesome team in the desert.
Yeah.
And you're,
And I was like,
Good
yeah,
opportunity.
let's do it. So I went out there. So the plan was to work out there for a year and a half. That's how they got me out there. It was
Okay.
like, hey, we're gonna do a year and a half, and we were gonna move back. I was gonna move back, and we were gonna open like a second shop with them. So year and a half, it was really great and everything. Oh, and another reason too was to build stencil stuff.
So this
Because-
was being talked about at the time.
Yeah, because Mario Rose now, he is Mike DeMasi's partner with Art Junkies.
Gotcha.
And at that time, he started dabbling with stencil stuff and like trying to make that and formulate it and whatnot. Because then I got in with stencil stuff. But so the goal was to be out there for a year and a half, open another shop back where I live in San Fernando Valley. But when it got close, they were like, "Oh, we're not ready," So I was like, "Okay, I'm not gonna stay out here." Like so.
Was it bad out there?
I mean, it's not great.
It was just boring.
It's boring. There's not a lot going on. You know what though? When I look back on it, it was kind of like a peaceful part of my life. It was like it was kind of cool going somewhere where it's new. It was just kind of new. It was quiet.
You were young too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was cool. So, but then they couldn't open a second shop, so then that's when I went back to the Valley and I opened MD Tattoo Studio in Northridge.
And how old are you at that point?
So I opened that shop in 2008. So I don't know how old I was, whatever that is.
Right. I mean, still younger though.
23, yeah, maybe 25, 26.
Right.
Yeah.
How was that? Opening your own shop.
It was cool.
Younger. Was it stressful?
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. Yeah.
You just came from the peaceful desert.
Yeah, but it was exciting to open up a shop and put together a little bit crew. Yeah, I mean, having a shop is a complete pain in the ass.
Yes.
I think. I think you would know that.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. I didn't know you were looking.
No, it's a lot of work. I don't think people realize, or at least people that haven't opened a shop or their goal is to open a shop. And it's cool. It's a respectable goal. It's just a lot of work,
Right. Especially compared to like just tattooing.
Yeah. Yeah.
I feel like when I was just tattooing, 80% of work was amazing. And then you open a shop and it's like maybe more like 60%.
like your work?
Like I just like enjoyed everything I was doing.
Oh, okay.
You know?
Yeah.
Like my happiness.
You know, you got to surround yourself with good people. You know, don't let anybody just in the door to work with you. So that's one thing. But it's a lot. You know what happens is like, you know, you kind of put yourself back a little bit because it's like, okay, well, now I got to worry about him. I got to worry about him, and I got to promote him. I got to try and get him an appointment. I got to do it. So it's cool though.
So many words were said with that. It's cool though.
Yeah. And then, but then, you know, the thing that really sucks is, you know, it's like I give my heart and soul to anything or anybody that is there. You know, I try and help people, and these people just, you know, they take advantage a little bit and learn everything, and then gone.
Yeah.
You know. But that's okay too. But have a little bit of respect after you leave, and not be like, I'm better than him.
Right.
It's like, dude, I was trying to get you good.
You're welcome.
Oh man, I remember this one guy. Well, I probably shouldn't say names, but where it's like,
You just call him Cam.
yeah. But man, we went and did a convention, and he ended up beating me to get an award at a convention.
Yeah.
And I even drove him to the show. I even drove him home. Like,
Was this someone that you had taught to tattoo?
yeah, it was just this guy sucked when he came to my shop. Like, I remember he did like one cool little black and gray Freddy Krueger at the time. I was like, okay, this guy's got some potential.
Right,
Like,
it's there.
I can make this guy good. And I made him really good. And then he beat me at a convention. Like one day, like my tattoo I probably wasn't even going to enter it anyway.
Yeah.
But regardless, the guy beat me. Okay, which that was kind of the end of the time where I was like, you know, I don't even care about these award things and entering shit. This is getting kind of dumb.
Yeah.
But the whole car ride home, he was just like, I beat Mike. And then he was even saying, look, dude,
Like he was just saying this out loud to you.
yeah.
Like you're driving.
I
he's like,
beat Mike.
I'm so
Mike.
good, bro. I fucking beat Mike, bro.
Motherfucker had it coming.
Dude,
Finally,
my wife
what do
was
you-
in the car. Like, fucking drive home. I was like, okay, this is weird. But then he's like, man, I'm going to beat Nico. I'm going to beat this guy. I'm going to beat this. I'm like, dude, like, just chill.
Yeah.
Like, it's okay. Like, cool, congrats.
Right.
Like, congratulations, buddy, you did it.
Yeah, I can't
Come
believe
on,
I get to
you
drive home with the best tattoo artist in the world.
put the trophy in the bag and a seatbelt over it.
We should hold it out the window. A lot of people ask about my setup and the ink I use. All I use is Allegory ink. You have the white, the black, and the ultra black. This is my total setup right here. Get yours at allegoryink.com. We got a discount code for you, unemployable, for 20% off all their ink. Again, allegoryink.com. So you open your own shop. For a small time, you had the #1 tattoo artist in the entire world working with you. No, but you were involved in stencil stuff at this time, right?
Yeah, so when I moved to Victorville, so Mike DeMasi and Mario were partners with the tattoo shop Art Junkies. And at that time, Mario was dabbling with bottling, you know, what now is stencil stuff.
Right, a solution.
Yeah, and so we worked on it together. He's like, you want to be my partner and, you know, blow this up and do this? And I was like, yeah. So then, yeah, we teamed up and we, you know, finalized the solution, got the bottle, the label, and just went after it.
Right.
Yeah, so we were partners for about 10 years, and then we kind of restructured things, and then I wanted to start wipeouts and go down that road. But stencil stuff was cool. It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of work, you know, anytime you come out with something, you got to promote it and do all that.
What did the promoting look like? Like hitting conventions?
Conventions.
Yeah.
A lot of conventions, giving out free bottles, talking, you know, getting on forums. Back then, there was a lot of forums.
Yeah.
So, yeah, just talking about it and just hitting it hard. But a lot of conventions. Yeah, bring product, give it away. A lot of giving away product, getting people used to it, you know.
I feel like that
seems-
really is the way.
Yeah, because I feel like I still see companies doing that. Like
Yeah.
when he says that, I think of like Allegory going around the conventions, like try our black here. We're here showing
Because what it
face.
does is it's like you be the judge.
Yeah.
You know,
Let
I'm
the
not
product
trying to
speak
sell
for
you on
itself.
nothing.
Yeah.
I'm just presenting an opportunity, and if you like it, you know where to get it.
Mm-hmm.
Which
Yeah.
I like that kind of marketing, bro. Maybe I'm gonna sound like a dick saying this, but I don't care. Yeah, because I've had companies reach out and they're like, "You should try my product," and I'm like, "All right, cool." Like, you want to send me some, and then they're like, "Well, I can get you 50% off,"
Yeah.
and I'm like,
I don't
"Well,
wanna
I
try your
don't
product."
want your product. Why- And then I'm
Yeah.
gonna pay for it. I don't even know if it's good, because that's happened. And then I get products, and I'm like, "This is trash, bro." You know, just give me the opportunity. If you believe in your product enough, give me the opportunity. Let me try it.
Yeah.
You know, and then if it's good, I will like it and I will buy it. You don't have to worry about it. You just got a client for life. All you have to do is sacrifice
Yeah.
one order. So you have it. It's bottled. You have a final solution. You're at your new shop. Are you using it, selling it, promoting it at the new shop?
Yeah. Yeah.
And was it like kind of like an instant hit, or no?
No, it was funny. I was actually thinking about this last night. Like, you know, being the first guy through the door gets shot,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
So I actually learned how to tattoo on a pneumatic machinery. Do you know what a pneuma is?
No.
Never heard of a pneuma?
I feel like I have, but I don't know.
So it was an air-powered tattoo machine. That's what I was taught on. And people were like, "Oh, Mike's tattoos are so smooth because of the air-powered machine or this or that," and kind of like talking shit on that kind of.
Okay, yeah.
You know, because I'm using this little air
Like,
machine.
oh, well, if I use a fucking airbending
Yeah.
machine, yeah.
But then I ended up tattooing with a coil just to show. I was like, yeah,
Right.
look, I'll do it with that too. So
They didn't stop talking, though, did they?
No.
Yeah.
no, or you know the whole thing with no lines.
Yeah.
You know, so got a little bit of that, but then stencil stuff. I remember there were people like talking shit on it. Like I'd literally trying to be defending it on
the forums?
On the forums. Like, oh, I could make that myself cheaper. I was like,
Then
Do it. Then make it.
first of all, I was like, you can't. Like, how much is your time worth?
Right.
You know, but there were people, and maybe still to this day, I don't know, maybe not as much, like back in the day, but they're like, yeah, you get a blender, and you go buy speed stick, and
Right.
you go do this,
A
and
little
you,
aloe vera gel.
well, that's a speed stick. Okay, that's $1. That's $1. Okay, your gas to go to the store. You got to get the blender. You got to
Right.
do this. You got to concoct it. You got to put it in
The time.
there's no way, you know. And we even did the math, and it's you can't make it for cheaper, but
It's like, bro, just buy our $20 bottle.
yeah, you know. But it's got a lot of that. I'd be on the forums like going back and forth with people, but
They're arguing. They're like, oh, first off, I'll ride my bike there, so that's no gas.
oh man, I
Like,
heard
you
it
won't
all.
ride your bike nowhere,
It's
bro.
crazy. But that was one of the things with stencil stuff that we worked really hard was to not have the deodorant. You know, there's elements in deodorant that they say are bad for you. I don't remember exactly what that
It's
ingredient
like
is.
metals and shit, I think.
Yeah, something like
Like
that.
in the antiperspirant.
Yeah, there's like
Yeah, there's something in there that's not great.
So is that what you were using before the stencil stuff with speed stick? Or?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Pretty much every stencil.
yeah.
Was that like pretty like industry standard at
Yeah,
that point?
back
yeah.
then,
It
speed
works.
stick, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'd still use them for like my fake skins nowadays.
Yeah.
Do you use speed stick?
For the fake skins, yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
stencil stuff, it doesn't like
Yeah, it doesn't-
soak up the stencil stuff. So like just like a layer of the
And
speed
it
stick.
smells good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, so does like stencil stuff nowadays.
Don't worry, your tattoo ain't gonna sweat.
But there was other ways. I think there's people, you know, using green soap, but that's just
Yeah.
Oh,
just,
yeah.
Oh, it's gone. Scott still does
Dettol.
that, dude.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah.
You know,
It's like gone in 3 wipes.
yeah. But then also it's just like a puddle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like you're peeling
Watercolor.
that off, and you're just like, dude. Yeah. But
Here goes
Purple,
nothing.
just purple shit everywhere.
yeah. So yeah, I think stencil stuff was definitely like one of those game-changing products, but it did take time. It took many years to get it to, you know, where a lot of people were using it, you know. But,
This is crazy to me because, like, me coming into the industry just a couple years ago, like, stencil stuff was, like, the stencil thing. There's, like, no...
everyone had it.
Yeah, like, to me, like, that was, like, just what stencils was stencil stuff. Like, there was no other solution. There was no other ways. Like, I'd heard about, like, the deodorant, Dettol, green soap. But, like, from what I knew, it was, like, stencil stuff is how you get your design on a person.
Yeah.
So it's kind of crazy for me to see like what it is, because I know like you both may have like a complete different perspective of it, but like me coming into the industry, I was like, stencil stuff is like the product for this. Like there's, it's like the standard. Like there's a million different inks you can use, a million different cartridges, but if like you needed to put a stencil on the skin, you were using stencil stuff, and like that's what I kind of saw coming into the industry. So it's kind of crazy to hear like how it's like starting out from you, which is really cool.
And what's funny, the name came off. So at Art Junkies, when we were making it, people were, you know, some of the artists were like, hey, do you have any of that stencil stuff?
Yeah.
And that's how the name
I love it.
Yeah, that's cool.
You know,
No,
hey, any of that stencil stuff? So that's how the name came about.
But then probably that or stencil shit.
You got that stencil
Like
shit?
stencil shit back there.
Then we made some other stuff too that was really cool, like spray stuff. I don't know if you've heard of spray stuff that keeps your marker
markers and
drawings
stuff
on.
Yeah.
And then prep stuff. So like prep the skin, or if you need to take your stencil off.
Yeah, like stencil remover and
There's
stuff.
that. We started dabbling in some other stuff too. Like we were making like these little travel armrests that were cool.
You're having fun with that? Creating new products?
I love doing that stuff. Yeah, thinking of ideas. And although thinking of an idea, that's the easy part.
Yeah.
If we could think of an idea right now, that's probably pretty incredible in like 2 seconds, but it's everything after that that's a fucking bitch. Yeah.
So how long into like you guys pushing the products and going into the conventions and stuff, how long was that until it started to like finally click with people?
Years.
Yeah.
You know, it takes time. The biggest thing that takes the most time is changing an artist's way.
Yeah. Because we're all very
tattoo
stuck.
artists.
We're all very stuck in our ways. We find a product we like and we stick
too.
to it.
You guys are real stubborn. Stuck in your ways and stubborn.
bro.
Point. I remember, I think it was like almost like 10 years, we were like, okay, we're just doing pretty good.
And then so starting to tattoo, having experience doing a product, obviously that inspired other products.
Just one day I got the idea for wipeouts, you know. Paper towels suck. And I was like, there's got to be something better way. And
Was that like a lightning moment?
I was gonna
or
ask,
that was
like,
like something
what
over
struck
time?
with that? Was that like a client like, yo, quit wiping me with this fucking thing, dude? Like,
Fucking hate pound.
it's fucking sandpaper.
yeah, I can't remember the exact moment, but it was just one of those. It was just an idea where it was like, there's got to be a better way. You know, like I was telling you the other day, where it was just like, it's just, if you were to fall down and you go to urgent care or you go to a doctor and he's cleaning up your gash, you know, he fell down skateboarding or whatever it is, going through surgery, and he's gonna like screams at his nurse like, Sarah, go get me some paper towels at, you know, CVS or something. I was like, that just can't be right. They don't do that.
Right.
You know,
They don't hit you with the quicker picker upper.
no way. No, they do not. So that's probably where it really spawned from. And but then I spent a long time, probably like 2 years, easily 2 years, maybe more, on researching and sampling so many different materials.
Right.
I mean, the GSM, like the thickness of it, like what do we need? You know, so they're literally designed for tattoo artists, you know.
And that's just a lot of like ordering and then waiting and then using and then ordering and waiting and waiting and waiting.
Yeah, or like these are too thin, these are too smooth, these are tearing, these have lint. So yeah, wipeouts now, there's no lint. You know, they're made out of, you know, biodegradable fibers. They're like cross-weaved. So like, we used to do a strength test, like literally go like that and try and pull it apart. You can't pull it apart. Like at conventions.
Yeah,
like,
they
you can pull it
don't,
apart,
like,
you're
rip.
the winner.
Yeah, you get a free.
Dude, we got
Another
muscle
one.
guys trying to, you know, because if you just do a little bit of roll and like try and pull it apart, you almost can't.
Yeah.
There was a couple times where I think if you like kind of like use your hand and like
Create
almost
a tear.
Like pry it.
If you leverage this, then you could almost tear it. But they're just really strong. But they're super soft.
Yeah, if you need like leverage to rip a paper towel, it's pretty solid.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and that's the other thing too. Like people think, oh, those just packaged paper towels. They're not.
They're not
packaged.
No.
I know another company tried to do that once, and but they're not.
Yeah.
They're just, and they're soft. Like I don't hear a peep out of my clients anymore, which I also think is good because it's like, hey, the more time in the chair, the more money you're making.
Yeah.
So, and better experience, faster you're going to get them back in your chair.
And it looks pretty professional. I've
Yeah.
noticed when I have a client, because you sent us a bunch, and that was awesome. Thank you, by the way. When I'm doing a setup and the client watches me unseal
Paper
my
towels.
wipes
Yeah.
and place it on a sterile setup, it looks good.
Well, and that's was part of it at the beginning too. It's like you're breaking up in your needles, you're breaking open this,
Right.
And you should be doing the same thing with your towels, and that's something that's literally touching the person. I don't know,
Almost more than anything else on your setup.
10 times to 1,000 times
Yeah.
through a long day. You're like doing this, and
Yeah, on the wound.
on the wound.
Yeah.
It's like.
When everyone wants to like talk shit about like all these fucking sanitation bullshit, whatever, and it's like, I know you got the apprentice ripping paper towels in the back with his dirty
gloves.
Cheeto hands, bro.
Yeah. And I remember back in the day, I'd use Vivas, and I would open up the package, and I see dirt on the bottom of it. I'm looking, I'm like, brushing it off a little bit, but it looks like, I don't know if it's dirt or it's something going on. It's brown. It's kind of, there's something going on in there. I'm sure they're clean, but they're not sterilized. Right. That's for sure. And they're, and there's other benefits too. Like they don't clog your needles. There's,
which I found. Yeah.
Dude, I remember back when I used to use paper towels, like, especially by the end of the day, when you're on white highlights and then all of a sudden you're like, wait, that's not working. And then you look and there's like this big old clog in there.
Yeah, like opens up your needles.
Yeah,
you're like, well, I guess it's a shader now.
That's a brown shader. Yeah. So then you got to take, got to try and you got to stop. You got to dig that out, or you just get out a new cartridge or change up. Well, at that time, like you'd probably be changing out your needle. You got to stop doing this. Right. It's just, they're just good.
The price point's good.
Yeah.
I was looking at that and I was like, oh, this is a good price point. Because I'll look at a product like that, and I'm like, this is probably expensive, And then I remember when you sent them, and I went on to like look at it. I was like, oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Which I think kind of goes back to what you were saying about like people arguing, like, oh, I could get it cheaper, I could do it cheaper. It's like, no.
Normal paper towels are expensive, dude.
Bro, not only that, it's like, when you have a big company and I'm preaching to the choir over here, but maybe you could agree. And you have the ability to buy like a shit ton, you're just going to get better price points than the individual, right?
Yeah.
How many iterations or runs did you get of the paper towels before you were like, all right, got the formula down, these feel correct, like these feel right? Like how long was it into that process did that take?
It took a long time. Like I said, it took like 2 or 3 years of going back and forth with trial and error of just sampling everything. There's so many different types. There's like the bamboo, there's this, there's so many different types of material. It took a long time, but I got it.
And then when you started, because like now, like we know now we have
that
like
many iterations. Yeah, bro. What were we playing Scrabble last night? Bro, you doing words with friends on the way here?
I'm trying. Like now I see like the product line. You guys have a lot. It's not just paper towels. Like you guys have the larger ones. You have the black ones. You have the wet ones. How long was it until you started like branch off with the paper towels? Or not paper towels.
Well, the one thing I try not to call them paper towels.
That's what I was. Yeah.
Because they're not paper.
They're not. Yeah.
Yeah, they're
tattoo towels.
Stop embarrassing me, man. You didn't hear him say bamboo, dude?
Yeah, they're actually made out of viscose.
Care to
Don't
explain?
know that word, huh? Well, how many iterations is that?
Mike's like, I got another one for you.
So I call them tattoo towels. You know, they're definitely not paper, and that's why they
feel
way
awesome.
better.
Yeah.
You know, yeah. Oh, so then we started making different sizes. So when we first came out, the first size was like, I don't know, it was like
big?
No, it was like 6 by 8 inches. You know, because I tattoo with like half sheet paper towel. So I figured that. I even took the fold down into consideration, like, okay, fold it that way, okay, that feels like a half paper, you know. But so that's what I launched. I came out with black and then white, and then I quickly realized that people wanted a bigger size. So I'm like, okay. So now we have XL. Mm-hmm. So that's the same size as a regular paper towel, but the better material. And and we have a new one coming out. Maybe in a couple of months it should be out, which would be the XL, the big ones, but in black.
Oh, cool.
The black is, I know you said you didn't really love
Yeah,
the black.
I had a question. I was just like wondering, like, was like, yeah, like what would the need for the black was?
So the black is actually our best seller. People love the black. So I know some artists will use it for color, but I think the jam really is black and gray.
I thought it would have been flipped.
Well, one cool thing is like on the black, if you're testing your colors, you know how like sometimes you'll put the color on the towel and you kind of see, like on black, you could actually see the color pretty good. It's kind of cool.
Right.
You know, but the black, I think it works best for black and gray artists. It's, you know, some people like the fact that you can't see the dirt, you can't see the blood, you can't see, it just looks the same way the entire time, and they last forever.
Yeah.
Like
You can use one towel for a couple hours.
long time, all day.
Yeah.
You know, this is a true story. So Bob Tyrrell, when I first launched this, I gave some to Bob Tyrrell to try. It was at a convention, and dude, I had to go see him. He works late, like, so I think it was like 3 o'clock in the morning. I went down to like go capture a video or see what he thinks, and he was almost done with this whole side of a head, and I was like, how many towels have you used? And he's like, 1 so far.
Right.
1. And the side of the head, I don't know if you tattoo a lot of heads, but when you're tattooing with paper towel, it'll shred, especially if you go the wrong way.
With the hair.
But it's a complete nightmare. Dude, he said, I think he said he started to see signs of wear and tear 6 hours in. Yeah. It was 6 hours. I have it on video too. I was like, it was a shitty video, but he's like, yeah, man, started to see signs. He's like, I would have used 1 all day, but I accidentally threw 1 away. So he ended up using 2. And I don't really, you know, flash forward to today, I don't really push people to be like, dude, just use 1. Or, you know, just kind of do you. And, you know, but with that being said, you could literally, and this is where you could save money too, is like, you don't need to, don't put that whole pack out in your contaminated area, because that pack could last a lot longer. Like maybe just pull out half a pack, maybe take that other pack and put it in your drawer for later, or if you just need one for maybe a wipe down over here, or, you know.
Well, what I've been doing is I pull them out and then I cut them all.
You do cut them?
Yeah. Because I like the folded thing, I only need half of that. So like whatever's in the pack, I essentially make double.
Yeah.
You know, and I definitely don't use the whole pack at all. I did like that about the black, is it looks clean.
Yeah.
And, you know, compared to the white with the blotches all over
Tattoo artists will buy anything black though.
Yeah, it looks cool.
Black dental bibs, black barrier film, black Sensi wrap. It's like a whole black setup is cool.
Yeah.
You can't go wrong.
But I like them, and then I'm always thinking like, how can I travel? How do I travel?
Yeah.
And like just to, you know, if I'm doing a convention, most of the time it's only 3 tattoos. I need 1, maybe 2 packs of the wipeouts, and cool. My paper towels are fucking set. Yeah. And that's always a thing at a convention, right? Yeah. It takes up a lot of fucking room and whatever. Yeah. Anything that's like compartmentalized or smaller, I'm like, yes. Yeah. This adds to the travel.
My first experience with them was at Philly when we were grabbing our badges. They were giving out the small ones to people, and I was like, I had never seen them at the time. It was my first convention. I was still an apprentice at the time. So I was like, whoa, these are cool. And then I remember like taking some home and like realizing, like, whoa, these are perfect to travel with. Like, perfect.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, like using them for the first time at the convention, I was like, oh,
That's
these
what I
are
thought they
good.
were for at first. I was like, oh, these are travel wipes. You
Yeah.
know? Yeah.
Yeah.
Little you know, they just come like that anyway.
Yeah, just because I'm stupid.
And then, like, I remember the first time I had them used on me, I was like, whoa. Have you had them, like, used on you while you've been tattooed yet?
No.
Yeah. So
I
I
had like just either regular sandpaper paper towels or the blue ones.
yeah, the shop towels.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I remember I brought a couple of the ones back from Philly, and Oscar was tattooing me. We were like 7 hours through the session. I just couldn't take his wipes anymore. And I remember I'd had some. I was like, yo, please just use these. Just try these for me. And I was chilling for the rest of the session. Like, I was 7 hours in of getting like raw wiped by Bounty, and it sucked. And then he switched to these, and it was like a whole new world. Like, I couldn't even feel the wipe compared to like the other paper towel.
Yeah.
Yeah, at that moment, I was like, these are the truth.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, like when you use a product on yourself and you see for yourself that it works, you're like, wow, like I'm genuinely more interested in this now. Like,
Yeah,
I
use
want
it
it.
on me.
Yeah, I was like,
this is nice.
yeah, and then even then, like what I've been doing recently is sometimes like I'll just kind of like pick them up throughout the end of the session. Like I might start off with like a normal paper towel, like remember I have them, and then like midway through the session, the client's like, wow, I really can't feel the wipe anymore.
I hope you guys are enjoying this episode of the Unemployable Podcast. We have the Unemployable t-shirt. It's okay. Also, we have a variety of other clothing on the modelcitizenapparel.com. You can even use discount code CAMSUCKS for 10% off. Why are you guys standing behind me?
Thank you guys for joining us on Unemployable Podcast. Mike, thanks again for joining us, man. If you guys haven't checked out Mike's stuff, please do. For the tattooers, check out Wipeouts. They're awesome. And we'll catch you guys next week.